Sup, Milog. I just want to experiment and try to reason using linguistics and thinking so as to begin talking and put my energy to like action, so to speak, so as to arrive at conclusions through speech. And in order to do that, I feel like utilizing IT competitively slash strategically or and as well, perhaps rather, is also a good idea. Additionally, hypnotically speaking, I feel as though it's possible to do this really easily because you can reason about things in congruence with your body's like ultradian or circadian rhythms or both, in addition to all the other biorhythms that make up your organism and the life that you have, essentially, so to speak. I mean, the animating principle or the circumstances slash happenstance that you find yourself in this reality in terms of being a human being within existence is rather peculiar and interesting to think about in this way, to be honest. I think that there is a difference between speculation in addition to conjecture because a lot of people make substanceless, baseless claims, or substanceless, baseless claims that are so easy to fail using logic that a lot of the time people speaking about things just pay minimal attention, or rather they can't really discuss consciousness that freely or ably, like they're not that capable of it. I find I feel like it makes sense that if you're an intellectual thinker, that hypnosis and consciousness, in addition to psychedelics and software, ought to be at the forefront of your intellectual interests. It's just hard to deny the ubiquity of computers and technology and how it exists in society, and it's just so pervasive in all areas of life, essentially. I mean, there's a large percentage of people, as far as I know, without um, hardware and software like the internet and things. I really do wonder about humanity and the interconnected nature of things, like how interwoven is everything. The notion of like all photons being condensed into a single like point in space time, pre Big Bang, and how perhaps quantum entanglement can apply there, which means everything post Big Bang was one pre Big Bang, and so that whole dividing into all the substrata that goes into making up reality may be quantum entangled, and so, you know, how can we know that? Probably through consciousness, which is why I feel like philosophy is really at the forefront of the frontier of knowledge and things like that. I think it's pretty interesting as well to take note of the things people hate on. Like, people hate on philosophy and philosophers. They say they like contribute no value and things. I think hating on them contributes no value. I think philosophy has its place in society, like a very vital role in society, really. Um, Human flourishing, thriving, prosperity, and things. Like, it really makes you think about nature and life and how humans can relate to one another in the best ways to use energy plus resources. Also, like, there's that notion like nothing really matters, and in addition to that, like, humans can define their own meaning, kind of thing. Like, if existence is void of meaning and humans can make meaning, then that's chill, because just make your own meaning if you want to. And I feel like human beings are quite partial to ascribing meaning towards things. Like, if you think about anthropomorphism, like, that's an example. I feel like it relates to the inner nature of being alive, and like how if you're a conscious being, I'm gonna say you probably like fun and games, like you like playing. So probably I think it relates to that capacity of humans to be able to play, like thinking experimentally and doing things for the fun of it is a very tremendous driving force in science and things like that. Like people who experiment in order to find out things in a methodological way or methodical way also like is an example of pragmatism, and I think it manifests quite naturally in reality. Like I feel kind of like the more you learn about a certain subject, the sort of more you learn about yourself essentially, because it is very reflective psychologically speaking. It makes me think of how psychology is super interesting to me because of how like meta it is. It's so relevant to all walks of life. Once again, it relates to consciousness because how can we know anything? You know, it's because we're conscious beings and we can relate to things. So really, it's quite an important subject, psychology, I feel like. Anyway, I'll probably upload this vlog to YouTube because why not? Sharing is caring. It's quite a lovely day today here in New Zealand, Auckland. Auckland. Peace.